Welcome to Change Bites with Rafam Mustafa. Each episode features practical tips and actionable approaches to change management, grounded in real cases and delivered in small bites. A key takeaway snapshot is shared on the host's LinkedIn profile, so there's no need to take notes while listening. Let's begin today's episode.
Hi, and welcome to Change Bites. If you've ever looked at a stakeholder register with dozens of names on it and wondered where to focus your time and energy, then today's episode is for you. We are exploring the stakeholder heat maps and how they can help bring clarity to stakeholder engagement. Because the reality is, not everyone experiences change the same way. Some people are heavily impacted by the change itself. Others may not feel a huge impact personally, but they have a lot of influence over whether the change succeeds or struggles. And when projects don't clearly understand that difference, engagement can quickly become too generic. That's where stakeholder heat maps come in. They help teams understand who needs close engagement, who may need extra support, where risks may emerge, and where communication needs to become far more targeted. So, in today's episode, we will unpack 4 things together. We will talk about what stakeholder heat maps actually are, why they matter. We will also talk about a practical way to create one using AI and Excel. And finally, we'll talk about how to use the heat map to drive better engagement and smarter change conversations. So let's bite into it. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is a stakeholder heat map? It's a simple visual tool that helps project teams understand 2 important things about their stakeholders. Number 1, how much they will be impacted by the change. And number 2, how much influence they have over the outcome of that change. When you bring those 2 things together visually, patterns start to appear very quickly. Usually, the heat map is split into 4 quadrants. For example, stakeholders with high influence and high impact often need close engagement throughout the project. These are usually the people you want involved early and consistently. Then, you might have stakeholders with high influence but lower personal impact. They may not need detailed support, but they do need visibility. They do need alignment, and they do need regular communication. On the other side, you may have teams with lower influence but very high impact. These groups often need more communication, more training, and hands-on support because the change affects their day-to-day work significantly. And then there are lower impact, lower influence stakeholders who may only need lighter touch engagement. Now, you might be thinking, this is just another project artifact. But that's not where the value comes from. The real value of a stakeholder heat map isn't the diagram on the screen. It's the conversations, the decisions that happen when the project team starts looking at it together. And that's exactly why stakeholder heat maps are so valuable in change management. One of the biggest mistakes projects make is treating all stakeholders the same. The same communication, the same engagement approach, the same messaging. But in reality, different stakeholders need different things. Some need reassurance. Some need involvement in decisions. Some need visibility of risk and timelines. And others simply need awareness at the right time. A stakeholder heat map helps teams stop trying to engage everyone in the same way and start focusing on the people who matter most. It helps answer some really important questions. Who needs more support? Who needs closer engagement? And who needs to be involved in decisions? Stakeholder heat maps help spot risks early. Because when key stakeholders are surprised by a change, resistance and adoption challenges are often just around the corner. So naturally, the next question becomes, how do we actually create one? The good news is it's much simpler than people think. A very practical way to do this today is by using AI tools alongside Excel. For example, you can ask an AI tool to create an Excel sheet for you with a simple stakeholder table already set up and a heat map that updates visually in real time as the stakeholder scores are added. The table might include things like stakeholder group, level of impact, and level of influence. Then, during workshops with your project team and SMEs, you simply start adding the scoring together. A rating out of 10 usually works really well. And this is where it becomes really engaging. As the scoring gets added into the table, stakeholders automatically start appearing on the visual heat map in real time. So instead of manually drawing quadrants or moving sticky notes around, the heat map builds itself while the discussion is happening. Now, one quick tip. Don't build a heat map alone. Bring your project team, your SMEs, your ops leaders, and sponsors into the discussion. People often have very different views on who is impacted and who holds influence. And honestly, that's where the magic happens. The conversation often creates more value than the heat map itself. What you're aiming for is shared understanding, not just one person's opinion. So once you've built the heat map, don't let it become another project document that nobody looks at again. Use it to guide engagement, communication, and support activities throughout the project. It can help identify who needs attention early, which leaders need to stay close, and where people may start pushing back. And remember, stakeholder maps aren't set and forget tools. Stakeholders change. Influence changes. Priorities change. So make it a habit of revisiting the heat map and updating it as the project evolves. So before we wrap up, let's quickly recap. We covered what stakeholder heat maps are, why they matter, how to create one using AI and Excel, and how to use it to guide engagement throughout the project. We also discussed why stakeholder heat maps shouldn't be a set and forget exercise. As projects evolve, stakeholders evolve too. So it's important to keep the heat map current and the conversation going. Thanks for tuning into Change Bites. Remember to check out the Insights snapshot on my LinkedIn page. Until next time, keep having the right conversation with the right people at the right time.
Thank you for listening to Change Bites. A key takeaway snapshot from this episode is available on the host's LinkedIn profile. Links to all resources mentioned are included in the podcast notes. Podcast updates are also shared via the Agile-Brainz LinkedIn page. Follow Change Bites to stay up to date with future episodes.